Hello, my friends. Shawn here with Manly Made Minute, and welcome back to another episode of Scrappy Shorts, where everything has potential. Does this look familiar? Do you have a bucket full of white strips, white scraps that are always left over from cutting card stuff, and we always have strips left? Don't throw these away. I've got a great idea for the easiest card ever with a lot of impact, and it's simple. It's very simple with huge impact. So we're gonna make some scrappy cards out of our white strips. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna go bright colors with this one, and we're gonna dig in that stash. Get out a big floral stamp. Get out some sort of big stamp that you haven't used in a long time, and let's give it some love and put it back to the top of one of our faves. Okay? Before I head down to that table cam, you know the drill. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Would love to have you follow me on YouTube and on Instagram under Manly Made Minute. I've got card hops, I've got lives, design team stuff, you name it. I just love to share this stuff with you guys because it is just so much fun to me, and so I would love to have you follow along. Let's go down. Let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to do this in a couple steps for you just to show you the process of how to make some beautiful, simple cards. All right, so table cam. Let me just zoom out a little bit here. So, get out these white scraps. Now, here I had a lot of scraps like this left over. So what I've done is I've cut them down into various sizes. These are 3/4 inch, these are 1/2 inch, and 1 inch sizes. And then I had these little pieces left over. May not use these probably for this card, but here's the sizes I cut these into these. Okay, just because I had a huge stack of these from, I don't remember what cards I was making. All right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to throw these into my splatter box, and I'm going to just use Distress spray on these. I'm not going to pre-wet them and do all that kind of fun stuff. I'm just going to spray and get what I want to get. I'm going to use ripe persimmon, mustard seed, scattered straw, and my favorite, peacock feathers. Okay, let's get out the splatter box. Get that centered here for you. And just lay these in your splatter box so that you can get these spraying. Do I want full coverage on these? I don't need full coverage. If I have white space left, I'm cool with that. I don't need this completely covered. So we're just going to I haven't used these for a little while, so I'm just going to, I don't even know if I need to shake those, but just give them some love. Just throw some color in there. And I usually worked light to dark when I do my sprays, so I can see what I have. Whoops. All right, and then just whatever, right? That's it. That's all I'm going to do. Maybe a little bit on those pieces. There we go. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to dry these, and then we'll cut back to cutting these down and what we're going to do. Okay, I have this dried up. Here's my pieces that I dried. I've pre-cut these now before I got back on camera. So what I've done is I've cut 3 strips that I had the wider ones to 3 7/8. Then I cut 2 into 3.5 inches. This is going to be my layout. And I'm going to probably slightly overlap these just a little bit towards the center, but I may not. I may just space them out. Let's just see once I get it stamped. Here's what we want to do. I got out something in my stash I haven't used. I bought it at a crafty day where everyone brings stuff just to exchange or put up a table for stuff for sale. I grabbed this stamp, background stamp, cling rubber stamp from My Favorite Things. It doesn't even have a name on it. I don't know if it's still available, if it's retired. It looks older. This is what it looks like. Just a nice floral background stamp. I took out my sticky mat out of my Mystique since I have this red rubber stamp so I can stamp this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tack these in here. Just a little piece of tape, tiny bit of tape on the back side. And I'm just going to line these up like so. And I know I'm just going to kind of center these like that. And I'm laying these out how I'm going to lay this out on my card. And I cut these a little shorter so they'll be roughly kind of centered. Centered-ish. And then the last piece. That's it. I'm going to take, I'm going to use some Memento on this. It is a fine detailed stamp. I could probably use VersaFine. I'm going to get out my Memento. I haven't used it for a while. Just for fun. I'm just going black. You could do whatever you want, depending on what you've got for your colors on your distress sprays or whatever you did. Any kind of medium. You can use any kind of medium to do this, by the way. And then I'll just make sure I've got good impression on these. Very fine, detailed one on this one. So it's just going to be subtle. Could emboss this. This would look good embossed even. Emboss each of these pieces would be kind of cool. I'm just going to go one or two more here just to get a good dark impression. Think of how many cards you could make with all your scraps. Okay, I'm gonna lift these up. I'm gonna keep these in order here as I take these off. A sticky mat would work perfect to stick these down. I just didn't because of the stamp that I used. I could have used the back of my Misty and stamped it. I've got a video out there. I think it's aired already for that. Okay, here's all you're going to do. Now, on your background here, you could run this through an embossing folder and emboss this. This is just my card base. I'm not adding anything else to this. You could add a matte layer. You don't need to. I could splatter this. I could add some texture paste to this. I could add a stencil to this background, whatever you want. I'm going to keep this just very simple and white, just for the ease of something easy and simple. Now, my larger ones, I'm going to grab some dimensionals. I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. And then my smaller ones, I'm going to glue down. So, I want to see... we're actually going to center this one first. Let's just center my center one. Because I know this has to be center. The way I've laid this out. And my three big ones are going up. So this one in the center is getting popped up. Okay. Keeping this in the direction, yes. Okay. I'm just eyeballing center here. And I could probably measure this. So 1, 2, and 3/4. So right about here. And just make sure I got it straight. Looks good to me. Okay, that's the first one. Now I'm going to work out from that. These small ones I'm going to glue, and I could space this like so. I'm going to tuck just the edge of this underneath, just barely. Tore a little bit when I took it off the Misty, so I'm gonna grab my tweezers so I can just tuck this really nice, and I'm gonna hold this up. That is to the pattern. Let me make sure I've got this the right direction. Oh, it was this way. Is that lined up right there? And so now I'm gonna just tuck this a little, just barely underneath. Like so. And keep it straight. Okay, then this last one on this side, the larger one, again, that's going to go up on dimensionals. And I should have probably showed you at the beginning, but some of these strips had stains on them, and I kept them because I knew, I didn't throw them out when I was prepping because I knew I was going to be spraying these, and you wouldn't even see these stains at all. Some of them, actually, to be honest, were looked like coffee stains even. All right, and I'm just going to hold this with the tweezer, make sure I've got this the right way, which was like so. And then I'm just going to slightly overlap. And I'm watching my pattern. I'm keeping my pattern so my lines continue on this pattern that I stamped. And the next little one will get tucked on the other side. And this one was like that. Just matching up my pattern. And just give that a little tuck underneath. This would look great spaced out too. Whoop. Not quite dry, so I got a little give yet there. Okay. And then dimensionals for this last piece. And again, keeping my background white, you could add some texture to that background to ground this if you wanted to, emboss this if you wanted to, whatever you feel like. I would add a sentiment probably across this and call it a day. Easy, easy, easy card. And we'll just overlap, line up my pattern here. And just bring that down just a little bit. The slight overlap. And that's your card. Got a little mixed media feel to it, for sure. I think just adding a sentiment across, a little sentiment in the corner here or something would be perfect. A little thicker stamp would look good too. Any kind of pattern background stamp would look great. I think this would look just fine even with a scripted background and emboss it. All kinds of options with this. So don't throw away those white strips. You can use all kinds of strips on this. You could go all little and big ones and use up all your scraps and line these up, and just be patient lining those up. So bring that a little closer for you, and you've got a great stamp. Now, you could actually take and color in some of these pieces if you wanted to, and bring those out, make those stand out. All kinds of options for all kinds of different looks doing the same exact technique. All right. Hopefully this gave you some ideas to not throw away all your white strips, and you can get some really great simple cards that you could mass produce and have no waste. How cool is that? Okay, you guys, thank you so much for hanging with me. Appreciate you all. And until next time, I'll see you then.